So first of all, thanks. So glad you could come here virtually from across different places across North America and join in on this 6 social exploration of social innovation through an online platform. We're going to be exploring and using 3 different forms of technology tonight. You're already on Zoom, and let's consider Zoom to be kind of like our home base. It'll be the thing that we'll be interacting with visually and also chatting with. We'll also be going to the 6 social course software, which some of you might have had a quick peek around if you've seen that social innovation video. And last, we'll be using a brainstorming app that you might want to use in some of your educational settings called Group Map, and we'll be doing some brainstorming on that. At a certain point very soon, actually, we're going to be asking you to use the chat function. And so at the bottom of your Zoom window, there's a little chat button. And if you click on that, you'll have either a chat that if you're using the decreased window, you'll have a chat that fills up the whole, probably the right-hand side of your screen. And that's where you'll be able to post content, remarks, and whatnot. We'll also be able to post links for you to use. If you happen to be in the full screen mode, it'll come up and be in the very center of your screen. So pretty straightforward stuff to work with, but we want to make sure you're on track with that. This evening, we'll be bringing you through using group maps, which are a great way for online collaboration and brainstorming. We'll be posting a link into the chat of Zoom. And so just wait for the links, and we'll prompt you verbally as well. But when that link comes up, if you click on it, you'll just find that the group map pops up in your browser window, and you can go and start interacting with it. There'll just be a couple of things where you have to put your name in and click OK, and then you can start posting. And then last but not least, we'll be also introducing the create.6social, and we'll be sharing with you some places for you to have some reflections. In future weeks, we'll have other things that go on with that. But again, those links will come up in your chat in the Zoom window, so you'll be able to get at them pretty easily. Tonight, we're going to be looking at building community, and hopefully we're already starting to do that by having everybody gathered around here from different parts of North America. We appreciate that. So we'll be exploring that concept. Next week, we'll be looking at problem finding, not solutions yet, just the problem finding. That in itself is a sticky enough challenge. And in week 3, when we finish up, we'll be looking at some interesting things to find about finding solutions. And then because this is a test for us and we're really looking for your feedback, it'd be really great to get some feedback from you. We've got a survey for you to complete at the end, actually of tonight, but also at the end of the 3 weeks. So that we can hear a little bit about your ideas about what this online experience has been like for you. And we're really looking to make it as collaborative and interactive as possible. So we really appreciate being here and looking forward to making it happen over the next 3 weeks. Okay. So with that in mind, I'll stop sharing here. And so now we have a rough idea of the fact that we're going to be accomplishing this, but we don't know who's here yet. So I think this would be a great opportunity for us just to take a moment, and we'll introduce ourselves around the line here. Just a little bit of information so we get a sense of who's in the room and where you're at. So if you can answer a couple of questions for us, if you could tell us your name, where you're at tonight, so what city or part of the world you're in, and also just a little bit about how you're involved in education. And so I'll start off just to say, I'm John Scully. I'm in Toronto, and I'm an artist educator working with Learning Through the Arts. So we partner with teachers across the country to bring arts into the schools. So maybe I'll go to you next, Hannah, if you want to just introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Hannah Cree, and I've been lucky enough to be partnered with Learning Through the Arts over the last year, working on the 6 social piece. We've been pretty focused in the last 6 months on the youth piece, and now we're looking at how we can translate that online in an educator piece so we could hopefully reach more people faster. And so we're really appreciative to get any feedback over the next 3 weeks of this very mini social innovation course.
Beautiful. Brian, can you go next, please?
Yeah, I'm Brian Hayes. I'm here in Belleville, Ontario, and I'm a grade 7 teacher at Saganaska Demonstration School, which is one of 3 demonstration schools in the province of Ontario for students with severe learning disabilities in the area of reading.
Great, thanks, Brian. Justin, can we go to you next? And I think you're muted right now, if you don't mind unmuting and then introducing yourself.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Justin Brown. I'm calling in from Toronto right now. Scarborough, Ontario, East Side, if anyone knows where that is.
All right.
And yeah, I'm a substitute teacher with the Toronto District School Board. And I used to be a head teacher of a private immersion school in South Korea, and maybe going back there next year.
Awesome, great. Thanks for joining us, Justin. Awesome. That's great. Andrew, can we go to you next, please?
Hi, I'm Andrew Brown. I'm coming to you from Belleville, Ontario. And I've been teaching for 7 years, mostly in the area of special education. I'm currently seconded to the Ministry of Education to work at Saganaska Demonstration School, which is part of the Provincial Schools Board. And Brian and Mike and I all work together. And we've been fortunate to be part of the Learning Through the Arts for a couple of years now, which is awesome.
Great. Thanks so much, Andrew. Okay. Courtney, can we go to you next, please?
Yes, my name's Courtney Collins. I'm based out of Castle Rock, Colorado, which is just south of Denver. It's a suburb. And I've been teaching for 13 years, and I started in New York City, went to Miami, Caracas, Venezuela, then Tokyo, Japan, ended up here in Denver. And now I'm pursuing a PhD at University of Denver. And I work with a nonprofit organization called Choose to Matter. And that is how I got connected with Six Social. So very excited to be here. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
You. That's great, Courtney. Glad to have you. Mike, can we turn to you next, please?
Hi, my name is Mike DiDonato. I teach grade 5-6 at Saganaska Demonstration School in Belleville, Ontario. Been teaching for, 10 years, primary grades, and lucky enough to work with John and some of his colleagues for the last 3 years through Learning Through the Arts.
Beautiful. Thanks so much, Mike. Glad to have you here tonight. Terrific. And Lee, are we okay to turn to you? Can we hear you all right? Do you want to introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about where you're from and how you're involved in education?
Okay. I've been teaching for 12 or 13 years, but all at the same school. I'm currently teaching in a grade 5-6 split. And my principal recommended this as a course that would be something good to try out, to do some more social justice stuff with my kids in class that I've been trying to do, but not necessarily as successful as I would like it to be. And I'm in Toronto.
Okay, great. Thanks, Lee. So glad you can join us. Perfect. Did I miss anybody? Has everyone had a chance to introduce themselves? Its 3-week mission to explore innovative learning opportunities, to seek out new ways of collaborating online, to boldly go where no learner has gone before. We hope that this new frontier of collaborative interaction and online learning is as exciting an opportunity for you to participate in as it is for us to create and to try out with you. Our Six Social online learning platform is a new opportunity for us to support teachers as you continue to expand your capacity to engage your students in learning in creative new ways. With Six Social, we are testing out online educational tools for social innovation. We want to explore how best to uncover the problems that may exist in your community and start you and your students on the way to solving them. In these 3 weeks, we're going to meet online with you and other learners to take a brief journey of discovery through the world of social innovation through collaboration. Find that out tonight, and we'd like to hear your ideas. What do you think is necessary to make collaboration happen in online learning? Go for it. We'll give you a few minutes to fill the chat up with all of your ideas, and then we'll take a moment just to review some of the things you come up with. Okay, go for it.
That's great. Thanks, John. I really like, Courtney, what you said about leveraging the collective genius in the room, because I think this is one of our intentions too, is to put lots of different people together online that they can interact really across North America in the end, that you wouldn't necessarily have that. And we're building an online community. So that on the brainstorming group map, you just click that link, and we want to get started on the brainstorming, and then we'll come back and have an active live discussion. So what does community mean to you? What does community look like to you? And just start going onto that page, and you can like and comment on other people's stuff too, and you can move it all over the map. So in our community groups, we want to be talking about this, what we wrote on there, what does it mean, what do we want to explore, and just have more of a deeper discussion. I've left these up. What does it mean? What does it look like to you? And have those discussions in your groups. It will count down. When a minute is up, you'll see it start to count down the board, and just think about all the positives and challenges that you have going on up there.
Thanks, John.
Thank you. Thank you, John and Hannah. Nice to meet everyone. Bye.
Great to have you all on board. Thanks. Look forward to next week.
Yeah, man. Take care, everyone. Peace out.
Okay. Take care, Justin. Bye-bye.
Thanks again, guys.
Hey, thanks, Brian. We'll see you soon. Take care.
Thank you, all Canadians.
You are welcome, American. We send you good wishes from the north.
I think I need them all. Bye.
All right, take care. Bye-bye. How could this problem finding approach positively impact your teaching practice with your students? Let's just take a couple of minutes to discuss that.
I was going to say, I think for our kids, John, here at Saganaska, the whole idea of problem solving would allow, or problem finding, sorry, would allow them to help them understand their learning disability better.
Yeah, cool. So, yeah, I think problem finding will help, like, turn the students into peer innovators. I think that it's important that, like, as the video kind of mentioned before, like, people look for shortcuts, and to actually have youth focus on finding solutions, then it may help us breed a generation of people who, like, let's say we know that global warming is an issue and other type of environmental things. It'll help put young people, or not even just young people, students, in the correct mind frame to actually tackle problems instead of just like, open workbook, complete problems, closed workbook, finished. It helps bring a very tangible, real life experience to the learning.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
One more thought about the problem finding, how it might benefit your students. Anybody else?
I like that it gives them ownership over it. They get to choose what it is that they're interested in and what they want to sort out, and something that's important to them, which also makes them more accountable for the work that they're doing. And they'd be so much more engaged across the board with anything that they're researching that they've chosen. But also it applies a process to what they're doing. We do so much process teaching now with problem solving model and writing process and scientific inquiry, and it applies another process to what it is they're doing, instead of them kind of floundering with, okay, what do I do next? It gives them more of a guide as to, well, here's what you should be looking for, and it steers them in a direction.
When we've done this in a live version with a group of many students, what we found really effective was just to simply put these topics up as big pieces of chalkboards or whiteboards around the room, and let them just wander and put down the ideas that they came up with in each of those topics. So as you say, Lee, letting it come from them, from their voice, because they're going to be much more engaged. So we're going to do something as akin to that as we can tonight by using the group map. We're going to post right now an opportunity for you to go and dive into a group map with those 6 topics up there. And we're going to spend a little bit of time letting you post ideas as to what it is you feel are present as part of the environment and education, human rights, art, and community. We'll spend some time in a manner letting you post in there. We'd love if each area had several different topics in it. And we'd love if each person had the opportunity to post at least 2 ideas in each one of those areas. So the group map link is in the chat on the right-hand side. All you'll need to do is click on it and then put your name in and click OK, and off you go. We'll give you some time to do that, maybe about, say, 5 to 8 minutes, to post in the problems, the challenges that you see in your community relative to each of these topics. Okay? Any questions before we move forward? Solutions. Tonight is about problem finding, and we have to be able to spend the time to look at that. So we're going to now take a brief walk through the MindMeister mind mapping tool and allow you just to see how some of it works. I'm not sure if any of you have used MindMeister before, but it's a fairly functioning mind mapping tool, online collaborative. And so to start with, we've got a center core idea. I hope you're all on board to work through that idea of education. We think it's relative to all of you and your work. So there's the center core idea, education. And then what you can do is create little threads that go out with it for a problem.
There's a problem of, teacher-student ratio in classrooms.
Yeah, great. Sorry, I got that up now. Yeah, so student-teacher ratios. So that can be within the mind map. You can click into that student-teacher ratios. And so if you get a little bit stuck and you need some, some things to prompt you, we've got some questions on there, some consideration questions. What is the hardest part about the problem? Are other problems caused by this problem? Who or what is currently involved in this problem? So use those as prompting questions if you need. Okay?
Perfect. So what we're going to do is I'm going to actually put you off into breakout rooms, and in these breakout rooms, you'll see when you go to join, you're either going to be in breakout room 1 or breakout room 2. When I post, you'll see these links in chat. Then you'll know 1 or 2 is the mind map that you should be working on. So once you get into your breakout rooms, if you're in 1, you hit group B1 education. If you're in 2, you hit group B2. And then you guys will have those mind maps. So I'm going to put you now into some breakout rooms and allow you guys to chat. You'll see broadcast messages like you did before. There'll be a 1-2 minute countdown that happens. And then we will go from there.
Yeah, ours had like an overall equality theme. So we talked about students having access to special education programs. And then the second branch was identification process for specialized programming or formally identified. And it really talked about some of the socioeconomic gaps that we're seeing with people that are just seeking out private tests to get students or their children formally identified. And is that fair to this? Is that the have versus have not?
Can we turn to group 2 now? Can someone from group 2 maybe take one of your threads of conversation and share it with us so we can get a sense of where you're at?
Sure. Most of our discussion focused around the innovation conversations, predominantly about technology. And we basically said, when technology comes out in school system, people tend to jump on the bandwagon initially, and then once the novelty wears off, there's a few people that try to stick with it and then, move on. People aren't really trying to understand technology and how it supports learning, which then stifles creativity. And we said that really that whole stifling of creativity down here in the school system stifles innovation. And what's, the one thing people are screaming about for jobs in Ontario especially is, the idea of innovation and creativity, but being, in education, we're the starting point, but yet we're really stifling it at the starting point. So we're not starting it off on the right foot. For teachers, lack of PD focus around technology, and if it is, it's again pretty surface level. And even going farther back, there's no real formal teaching in Teachers College around technology. It's all, again, pretty surface level stuff there. So
we're going to get you to go back into your breakout rooms again. Now you've had a chance to sort of come up and share it. And we want you to focus just on one problem that you saw that came up in your brain map, your mind map. And we want you to dive into it even a little bit more and really extract the elements out there. We've got some questions that can help guide your exploration, and we want you to pull it apart even a bit more. So from just one of those questions or one of those points that you had within your mind map, extrapolate more, really focus on it and try and pull it apart. Look at all sides of it. Okay?
but you can really go in and add these things. What we want you to do over this next week is to validate the assumptions and the brainstorming that you just had. So this is the time, because you guys are all in education, you can look around your school, your community, your teachers, the parents, and maybe either start observing and also start asking some questions. And just like those blocks that we saw in the video at the beginning, we have to look at it from every side, but we also now have to go and ask other people that are experiencing these same problems to really figure out what's going wrong. And you never know what you're going to discover in those discussions.
Remember, we are not going for quick solutions, all right? We are looking at this in a long term. So you've got the next week to explore this with each other. If you choose to, you could arrange to do it at a time when you're, all synchronistically there. Great. Or if it's easier, you can do it separately, and the mind maps, as Hannah says, will be there for you to access. So just keep on building on it. This is the beauty of the online world, is that you don't have to travel a long way to get to the same place. So travel by using the cyberspace, add your ideas, and actually take the time to go off and ask these questions of some of the people that are the stakeholders, the people who are in your classrooms, who are bringing the kids to the classroom, the people who are, administrators. Take some time to ask these questions, and you'd be surprised how much you pull out of the profession that you already are deeply embedded in. Meet Dash, a lively 17-year-old who has a very difficult time waking up from sleep, no matter how hard you try. He would rather stay in bed and dream than get up for school. The problem is that we don't have an effective tool to wake him up in the morning when it's time for school. We tried an alarm clock, but he slept through that. We tried getting a bigger alarm clock, but he got really angry with that approach, and it spoiled his day. So we tried loud music. Not much better response. Then we tried playing the music that he likes best at a lower volume. We thought we would entice him awake. No go. So was the problem actually the waking up system? We needed more information. So we polled many young people and asked them about their sleep and waking habits. We discovered that the ones who went to bed earlier woke up for school more easily. So the problem wasn't with the waking up system, it was that they didn't go to bed early enough. Once that problem was actually defined and validated, a solution for that problem could be formed. So we found an app that schedules the teenager's bedtime with enough time for them to have a restful sleep and wake up in time for school. It gamified the bedtime ritual, making it fun, and rewarded him for a continuous, appropriately scheduled bedtime routine. There were online incentives and points that translated into real-world prizes. When an appropriate solution to the actual problem was in place, waking up in the morning became much easier for Dash and his family.
I'm just going to grab this feedback link for you to fill out. Again, we want to thank you guys so much for your time and allowing us to really test out all of this information. Problem finding and going really granular in the way that we did it is hard to do live, and it's also hard to do online. And I think we were really able to spur some great conversation. Please fill out that feedback form. Next week, we will send out an email so you can go back into the group maps at any time and do those prompting and really validate everything that you talked about. And if you want to stay on the call, please do. I can show you all about MindMeister.
What we're going to challenge you to do is to go into breakout groups, talk about those things intensely, review some of the information, and try and distill it down into to respond in a pitch form. Hannah has put the starter statements for you. You can see into that the actual MindMeister mind map, and we want you to complete these sentences. So our problem is ... How would you finish that sentence? The hardest part about the problem is, how would you distill that down? What would it be? And the people, place, or thing that is affected by this problem are ... So we're going to ask you to revisit those mind maps in your breakout groups, to think a little bit about how you would sort those out, and to finish those sentences off. Sound fair?
Sure, I can speak. Justin, if you want to jump in as well. So our problem effectively was the implementation and underutilization of technology. And the hardest part about this problem is that there's a large disconnect between all levels of education and the vested parties. So that being students, parents, disconnect between students and teachers, teachers and principals, principals and board level and ministry. So just basically the whole hierarchy of education. And the people, place, or thing that's affected the most by this problem is society in general and anyone invested and or impacted by the education system. And Justin made a great point that, until the disconnect about technology in the classroom and how to effectively use it and how to implement it actually becomes an issue. And he made a great point about, if a newspaper were to get a hold of it, how we're not, school boards are tooting their horn about 21st century learning, but you're not really doing it. If they actually made that an issue, opposed to, teachers want pay raise or teacher want this during contract talks, I think every teacher around would say they would rather, see this be the issue or special education the issue or what the actual issues are, opposed to putting us as a poster child for, what everything that's wrong with the education system.
The people, place, or thing that is affected by this problem are, number one, the students. So do students have proper access to special education? So it is everybody's human right to have access to education, and it's everybody's human right, whether it doesn't matter ability. When Courtney and I talked about this, right, we started brainstorming what we were going to talk about this, we talked about how when we came back into this MindMeister, that we actually had more questions. So we left our time last week with some really great to the point notes, and then we came back and we had more questions, which sort of told us that this is a big problem and something that we're very passionate about.
This past week, you have spent time building up your comprehension of problem finding on the topic of education. We hope some insights about the specific problem that you were exploring rose to the surface. We also hope that you now have a deeper understanding and appreciation of the importance of the problem-finding process. Now we're going to challenge you to tackle the solution-finding process and deconstruct how it works. We introduced to you the bad birthday activity. We are going to brainstorm all of the bad birthday ideas that you can think of for kids. John Scully reporting for Six Social Online, on the street in front of the Royal Conservative Music in Toronto, looking for best bad ideas for children's birthday parties. Let them roll.
Worst birthday party for kids would be a Robin Hood themed party in the woods.
A punch bowl full of Red Bull. Anything involving clowns.
Just bombard them with scary movies. Take little kids to a classical concert. How boring.
Swimming with the sharks.
That's amazing. You guys have some really good ideas there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you actually the poll one. It's called Poll Maker, and we're all going to vote. So we first need to do a little nod to our friends in America. Every vote counts. I want you guys to remember that as we vote on this. I'm randomly going to select about 4 that we can vote on. But I want to show you the poll making tool. For those that are interested in Zoom, Zoom does have a poll making tool that you can use. But I wanted to introduce a tool that you could perhaps use in your school with your students. And what I like about it is that you literally land on this page. You don't have to log in. You don't do anything. You just start entering these ideas. So I'm going to just start. And John, you can help because I know there's a lot here. But maybe I think a haircutting one is a really good one.
Yeah, for sure. I think the parents would love seeing little Billy and Ahmed coming home with different haircuts than they start out with.
It's a great one. I really like the veggie cake and the retirement home. There's a great
home. I like a retirement home idea. I think that's a good one.
I know, that's true.
It'd be like 1,000 little therapy dogs running around. Come here, little Billy, let me squish your cheeks.
I think there'd probably be some heart attacks probably in that retirement home for this one. Beautiful.
Oh, that's a good one. And let's do some mud wrestling.
All right. Everybody loves mud wrestling.
So this is as simple as this is. You just put this all in. I put the title in beforehand. And then we have the themes. And you can see on this side, the themes just change. It's just a nice little thing. So we'll pick one simple. There are some settings, but we don't need to change anything here. And then you just press share. And in a moment, I'm going to put this right into your chat. You're going to click on it and open it, and you're going to vote. And every vote counts. Majority wins, though.
So now what we want you to do is we're going to break you into into some random breakout groups, and we're going to ask you to find a way to make that bad birthday idea into a really good birthday idea. Okay, so you'll break out into your groups. We're going to provide for you a group map so you can chart your ideas down because it's important to sort of see where the discussion went. So when you're in your breakout group, do your very best to turn that bad haircutting idea into a good haircutting idea. And we're going to have you come back and share that with the other group when you finish. I'm going to ask you to think back, be metacognitive. What steps did you take as a group to create a solution to that bad birthday idea, and be specific, okay? So really think about the steps you went through to make that happen. And then, importantly, think about how you can apply that solution creation process to your classes, okay?
So right here, it's what steps you take. You can go anywhere, and how can you apply this? And at the end, you're gonna share your findings in 3 sentences.
Could we have one person from each group share their sort of summary of what they came up with? Maybe we can start with group 1 first, the one that's up on the screen. Could someone from the group share what you got?
So summarize it with, through the process of asking questions, generating ideas, having fun, allowed us to narrow our search for a solution. And in order to introduce our students, pose a question around a broad topic to get students to critically think, generate ideas, and analyze possible solutions. And through the application of cross-curricular practice, we can create a classroom that thinks through the problem-finding and problem-solving lens.
We decided to brainstorm as a team, bring all the kids together and make sure that all the kids realized that their voices need to be heard and that all of their ideas are important, and made sure that when we chose ideas, or that when we came up with ideas, or if we went forward with ideas just like we did, it's not about your idea, it's about the team's idea and everybody's idea together. And to get students to focus on the positive as opposed to focusing on the negative, because focusing on the negative is sometimes a lot easier than on the positive.
This is one of my favorite companies right now that are involved in social innovation. Some of you will probably already know who they are. They're actually located in Ontario, but their story originally started in Cambodia, where the founder discovered a problem. And so I'm going to start off with this short video, and then I will actually give you an update at where they are now and how this really applies to problem solving and problem solution and the evolution of that.
In Cambodia, half the population is severely anemic because their diet of fish and rice contains very little iron. Iron deficiency is the cause of many health problems and pregnancy complications, like premature births and miscarriages and even deaths. Iron pills are available but are far too expensive, so we needed to find a cost-effective solution. That's when we knew this had the power to change it all. We worked out that cooking with a piece of iron for 10 minutes could provide a family with up to 75% of their daily iron intake. The challenge was getting them to use it. They did, but just not for cooking. So we had to dig deeper if we wanted to help. And we found this, a cultural symbol of hope and good luck. The lucky iron fish. And the community has embraced it. Our team has been going out educating, promoting, and encouraging more families to use the iron fish. And the results have been life-changing. After only 9 months of regular medical trials and testing, we have seen a 50% drop in iron deficiencies and helped 54,800 people feel healthier and happier. The best part is, this is a sustainable solution, made from recycled material that undergoes strict quality control tests, handmade and packaged by the local community. The project provides hundreds of jobs along the way.
Lives, and recently it received the stamp of approval from former U.S. President Bill Clinton.
The Lucky Iron Fish is now a registered company for good, giving us the power to help millions of families around the world. Let's put a fish in every pot.
And this is something that my mom used to say to me growing up all the time is, Hannah, problems are merely solutions waiting to be found. And then she would end with, go find them, get out of my hair, right?
Thanks so much, everybody. Really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Hannah. Thanks, everybody.
Nice meeting you.
You too.
Thanks to meet everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Good wishes to you all. Happy holidays.
Yeah, you guys as well.
Happy hacking, Hannah.
Bye.